MindFax is not a thing. It's more of a goal, really, because the goal is to
you could look back at this.
That's funny.
Take one.
And what MindFaxing is all about is making it inside your customer's brain with a facsimile of what you want.
I like it.
See ya.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And so then we said, well, maybe if we called digital business storytelling,
MindFax.
and I want that in visual because I'm like, I want it to be very picture, visual, not. But either way, digital business storytelling. We said maybe that's a MindFax.
And I guess what I was also saying is that a key part of it is that it has to be that it has to persuade. Because that's what we're doing. Well, it's not enough to have it be a facsimile. That you have to have shared meaning and shared understanding. And if you can get that, then you have a shot at having that person say, oh, okay, I get that. That's a great restaurant. Or I'll go to their website to learn more.
Right. Well, you said before, good stories well told or something.
Good stories well told. .com.
Yes.
Actually, it's great stories well told.
Great stories well told. Yeah, so it's even a step up. That's for me, just exploring, where do stories live?
Inside people's minds.
Right, and they can be temporarily stored in books, but in general, they're in people's brains. And when you transfer a story from one person's brain to the other brain, I think it's like an act of procreation. It's like moving something. What I'm thinking is that the stories are the essence of being alive.
I agree with that.
And that if you can move a story from one person's brain to the other, then you're moving the life force, the essence of being alive. And so that's where somehow like reducing it to an act of persuasion seems to like diminish the life force kind of dimension, and maybe not.
John, but if you're going to get anybody to pay attention, I think storyboarding is bad.
Yes.
It's like don't diminish the lifeforce.com, and it's like, so what is that about? But nobody wants to be persuaded. But we were talking about the Three Little Pigs, the story, the Three Little Pigs, earlier today, and that's a good story. I mean, we all heard it as children. Well, it's a persuasive story because part of the story is take the time to build your house well. Take the time to do things well, and so your house won't get blown down. And I don't think kids felt like, oh, here comes the lecture about doing things well, about being thorough. Well, I think you define persuasion as bad persuasion.
Well, I think so.
Yeah,
but
and that's fine, because that's what your description of persuasion is like. It is accurate for like 98% of all the persuasion that takes place.
Right, like a used car, door to door.
Yeah, and it's just poor attempts at getting people to do things that you want them to do.
But I think I'm going to sit here just for a sec and check and see if I move too far out of the frame.
Okay.
If you want to zoom up.
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. I'll just sit here exactly with my hand in the same position until you sit down. Okay. Anyway, what I feel like is with the film strip idea is that historically people knew how to organize and maintain and transmit their stories. And with the internet and all the stuff that's gone on, people have lost sight of the simplicity of having a story, saving it, and transmitting it to another individual.
Well, you know why it's become a problem is because now we're all storytellers. Whereas 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, I mean, how many storytellers were there? It was like one per tribe. It was like the chief, or the head guy, or the shaman. He was the keeper of the stories. He was the person, or she was the person that would tell the story about the ancestors, and that was the teaching and all of that. So stories were very sacred. But you know, just think about what would happen to stories if everybody in the tribe was telling all the stories.
Well, or
it would be like what's going on today. You know?
But I'm there, and I think that what MindFaxing to me was about was getting back to the idea of knowing what your story is, what makes you unique in the world, if you're a business or an individual, and transmitting that story using digital medium in a business fashion to get it inside someone's brain. It's the equivalent of figuring out,
that's what it is,
the Three Little Pigs, but for businesses, so that as opposed to having to tell the Three Little Pigs, they can tell their story, and people get it and go, I get what this soda's about. I get what this drink's about. I get what this phone's about. I get what this health club's about. I get what this weight loss program.